Welcome to the video where I give my music opinions and you probably hate me for it. Yay! Anyway, we'll start off with like a lighter hot take. Kanye has had the biggest fall off of any music artist in the history of music when it comes to strictly their music quality. The stuff he's making now is actually unlistenable. Like, some of the worst thing I've ever... Dave Blunt's is better. Lil Mabu is better than... I can genuinely make something better than that in about 2 minutes probably. I don't know what we're doing. I really don't get it. Now, when it comes to just overall status of an artist, I think R. Kelly still holds that spot of like the greatest fall off because, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. At least Kanye hasn't peed on a child, right? So there's that. But when it comes to strictly music, yeah, by far the worst. Number 2, Cuadca is the best music producer in all of music right now. That's an insane take for probably a lot of people. Probably a lot of you don't even know how to act because you don't even know who Cuadca is. You should get familiar. Why not? That would be good for you, good for him, good for music culture in general because he has a lot to offer. The music he's releasing currently, his most recent album, Vanisher Scraper Horizon, it's so unique. It's like nothing I've ever heard in the best way possible. I made an entire video on it. I think it's actually my most recent video uploaded. You could check it out if you want to learn more about Cuadca and his most recent music. I think if he keeps going on the pace he's going at, he might be one of the best music producers of all time. I think he's genuinely that talented. He's so creative. Number 3, music discourse is at an all-time low, and it's because of the Drake and Kendrick beef. Now, the first half of this take, not really a hot take at all. Music discourse at an all-time low. That's obvious if you go into any comment section of any popular music critic. But, I think the Drake and Kendrick beef has like made it 10 times worse, and I don't think many people are really talking about it. I feel like there's been such a huge spike in the glazing of rappers and just musicians in general, as well as like weird misinformation. I guess because there was so much misinformation in the Drake-Kendrick beef that both of those artists were spewing out, which is pretty unfortunate. I don't know, fans decided to start doing that too. The amount of times I just see like some blatant, obvious lie about a famous rapper is crazy. And you'd think people wouldn't believe it, but they always do. And I mean, really, the rate of glaze has just spiked up. Like, I feel like its first big spike was with Drake fans coping, somehow trying to spin the beef as if he won. And then, once again, it's like a virus. It just transferred to every other fan base ever. I don't know. It's not good. Number 4, Playboy Cardi's style of music, so like that rage rap scene, will follow the same trajectory as drill music in the early 2020s in the sense that it will inevitably fall off drastically in terms of mainstream popularity. And I think that because there's a lot of parallels, right? If we look at drill music in the early 2020s, you had Pop Smoke, who was really talented and offering a lot to that subgenre, and then everyone else who was copying him kind of just stunk. I can't lie. He was very much carrying that genre, and I think that's the exact same going on with Playboy Cardi. I guess the closest people would be like Ken Carson and Yeet. I still think they're not nearly as good as Cardi, and everyone else, I mean, like, Destroy Lonely is straight ass, bro. What are we doing? Playboy Cardi's really the only one, and if he ever dips in quality, if people ever become less interested in Playboy Cardi, if anything ever happens to Cardi, I think the subgenre is done, because he's all they really have. And that's exactly what happened to Pop Smoke when he unfortunately passed away. It's not looking good. I do think there's some potential saving grace with like that whole Two Hollis, Jane Remover sort of lane where they combine rage rap with like a lot of techno sounds, but I don't know. I don't think that'll have enough mainstream appeal to really keep the genre thriving in terms of popularity. Number 5, Baby Keem would be one of the most popular rappers in the world if he just released music. I don't know what this lazy bum is up to, but it's not making music, clearly. Let me clarify 2 things. First of all, he's obviously not a bum. It is frustrating, though, right? Because he genuinely has talent off the charts and he's wasting it. Also, what I mean by most popular rapper in the world is like, I think if he would have just released music, he would have had the potential to be like a top 10 rapper with the most monthly listeners, or at least near that top 10 list. And the reason for this Obviously, I think he's very talented, has a lot to offer. I think the melodic blue was great. I also think he just offered such a unique feel to his music. I also think he had such great connections. Obviously, Kendrick being your cousin, that opens the door to making music with him, but also a ton of other artists. He had some A-list features on his debut album. And man, he just had all the resources, all the talent, and he did nothing with it. And the other thing, too, I feel like people, music fans like myself, are wanting so badly a young, talented artist. We got a lot of young rappers. None of them are good, though. Ice Spice a couple years ago, there's such a need and vacancy for young, talented rappers. And Baby Keem could have filled that need so easily, and it's just really, really, really unfortunate. The single worst fan base in music, in all of music, not just rap. It's not Swifties. It's not Nicki Minaj fans. It's not Kanye West fans. It's kind of Eminem fans. Let me get into it more. So it's not generally Eminem fans, but it's specifically the Eminem fans who say, oh, I hate rap music. Rap music's horrible. It's barely even music. But Eminem kind of good, though. That's racism. That, like, how can you not like rap music and just discount the whole genre except for that one white guy? That pisses me off so much. It's just like such a... You're just an idiot. Like, I don't know how else to say it. And it's so, like, blatantly, like, yeah, maybe you're not, like, being racist outright, like, being the most hateful person ever, but, like, you could tell there's something there, because I don't know what else the reason would be. Because it's not like Eminem is even that, like, super different from, like, a rapper. Like, at his core, he is a rapper. I don't know how you can like Eminem and not any other rap music. The only reason, or the only difference that's there is his skin color. So, I don't know. To me, that just screams racism. And that's obviously bad. Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent, I think they're good. People put them in their top 10 lists. So for that reason, I think they're two of the most overrated rappers of all time. And I think the reason for this is just because they had one really, really great album in their catalog. Both of them. Each had one, like, phenomenal, one of the best rap albums of all time in a top 50 list, top 30 list, whatever. But then outside of that, they had some good songs, don't get me wrong, but they never had anything even come close to matching that level of that one album. And I don't know, when that's the case, I don't see how you could be in a top 10 list. I don't think any of their discographies match up to some of the other greatest rappers' discographies. So, yeah, putting them in those lists, it's going to make them overrated to me. I feel like people are going to strongly disagree with this one, but TikTok has been a net positive for music listeners. Now, let me explain. Obviously, the overplaying of songs through TikTok is not the greatest, but if you're someone like me, that is not a problem because I don't doom scroll. I have a life and I do things outside of scrolling on the internet and watching 30-second videos. No, honestly, I'm not hating on you if you doom scroll. If that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do sometimes. But, like, you realize you could not do that, and then the overplaying of songs thing is not a problem. And then the other, I guess, major problem with TikTok for music listeners would be that some music artists have tried to, like, specifically make TikTok songs, and that more often than not just makes the song worse. Like, I think of Pink Friday 2 by Nicki Minaj. That just felt like a bunch of TikTok music, and I think that's probably what she was going for, and it did not pan out. But I think I could forgive that because of the benefits that TikTok has been for music listeners like myself. And the main benefit has to do with music discovery. I can't tell you how many new, underground, lesser-known artists I found strictly because of TikTok, and I would have never found them otherwise. Some of them I've even recommended on this channel. If you take a look at, like, Doechii, he was my most streamed rapper for damn near 3 months at one point in the year. I've recommended him on here multiple times. I wouldn't have known of his existence if it wasn't for TikTok showing me one of his promotional videos for one of his songs. And there's so many other examples of that. I found so much new niche music because of TikTok, and I think that benefit outweighs all the negatives, at least for me. Alright, Doechii is one of the most overhated artists, originally I was going to say of the 2020s, and that I think is definitely true, but honestly, that I've ever seen in my entire life. In my entire history of listening to music, I don't know if I've ever seen someone more overhated than Doechii. Obviously, there's definitely artists who have been more overhated, but just from what I've seen, like, it's insane. She dropped one annoying song that unfortunately became very popular, Anxiety, And people started hating her not only for her music, but started hating her looks, her character, saying all these like nasty things about her. I swear, you would have thought Anxiety was about Israel and Palestine, followed by her saying slavery was a choice. Like, I don't, like, people were really, really saying some crazy things about Doechii for no reason, especially considering her actual album. Like, ignore Anxiety. Her album, Alligator Bites Never Heal, was one of the best of last year. It was phenomenal. She can sing. She has great singing ability, great rapping ability. She's a great writer, can make very catchy music, very meaningful music. And people hate her. It's horrible. I feel so bad for her. And last one for this video, number 10, hot take, is being a skilled, quality, good rapper is harder than being good at any other genre. I think hip-hop is the most difficult genre to perfect. And the reason for that is because I think there's just more things that you have to balance. In hip-hop and rap music, you have to be a better writer than in any other genre. If you think about all the double entendres, all the meaning behind the lyrics, all the similes and metaphors and other things like that, it's there in other music, don't get me wrong, and sometimes it's very prevalent and very impressive, but I think it's just more of a necessity and more expected in rap music. Not even I think, I know, that's just a fact. Next up, the flows are the most complicated in rap music compared to any other genre of music. And that's another thing that's just kind of expected. So not only do you need to have these great lyrics that have all this messaging behind it, but you also need to have phenomenal flows. You need to have it all make sense, and you still need to have a good voice. Obviously, you might not need to sing and, you know, be able to have a better range and hit all these notes and stuff like that, but you still need to sound good. And I think balancing all three of those things is just really difficult. And that's why I feel like there's been so many rappers that ventured out into singing, and it's honestly usually turned out pretty good. You know, if I think about someone like Juice WRLD, Drake, Kanye, Tyler, the Creator, like, so, I mean, you could go on and on and on. These are rappers who ventured out into more, melodic vibes and songs and straight up singing, and they've succeeded. You think of singers that turned into rappers, or not even turned into, just tried to rap. 21 Pilots? Ariana Grande on that one song? Yikes. It's bad. It's really bad. And I think that's because it's harder to do, and it's more impressive to be a great rapper. And specifically great rapper. It's very easy to be a bad rapper, to be Lil Pump. But to be Kendrick Lamar, to be MF Doom, to be Eminem, older Eminem, that is very difficult.